Hi, my name is Carina and welcome to the Carina Chronicles. Today I will do the Zodiac Sign Book Tag, my own created book tag, and I will do it for the Zodiac Sign Cancer. So this is already the fourth time that I'm doing this book tag. I think you will by now understand how it goes, but for you who are new, welcome. I've created some questions and I specify them for every zodiac sign every month. And you can do them as well. You can do the tag and after you can change the questions to make them specific for your zodiac sign yourself. Or you can just wait until I have passed your zodiac sign and you know exactly what they are. I don't really believe in zodiac signs, or well, I do know they exist, but I mean, I don't really put any value to them. But I just think it's fun because a lot of people do, so there are a lot of things related to your zodiac sign. I will give you 10 book recommendations in this video, and it's just a way for me to recommend some books that I usually don't really get to because they're not my favorites or my least favorites. So then I'll tell you some new books. And I'm excited for this one because there are quite some new books in here that I didn't really talk about on my channel yet. So that is great. Let's quickly start. I will link all the videos that I made somewhere here on the screen. And I will also put it at the end of the video and you can just see the questions down below in the description box. Please let me know if you do this tag because I would be really happy with that. And that's actually it. Let's now quickly start. So I keep calling these things questions, but there are actually more prompts. So the first prompt has to do with the name of the zodiac sign, which in this case is Cancer, which I relate to the animal and not to the illness. And something that really related for me is Where the Crawdads Sing by Delia Owens. This book is turned into a movie and this movie is coming out I think in August and I'm really excited for that. I now work in a bookshop and this book is like the most sold book ever still, while it's been out for a while. And that is really funny because I don't know why so many people like it so much. I didn't dislike it, but I also really didn't like it. For me, Delia Owens is a nature writer, so she writes a book about nature, non-fiction. And I thought it was really clear because the nature she described in this book was incredibly perfectly done. You just felt like you were walking through the forest with her. But the conversations between people felt very unnatural. So it felt like she was a beginner in writing conversations and characters and a professional in writing nature. And that made for a very weird mix for me. But everyone seems to like it. I'm really the odd one out. So please try it. And I'm really excited for the movie because that must be beautiful because it takes place at such a beautiful nature spot. Then the second prompt is about the character traits of a Cancer zodiac sign person. And I needed to find that back into a book, so a book character. This is a little bit cheating of me because the character traits are sensitive, friendly oriented and practical. And I'm going to recommend another book from the Lunar Chronicles. I feel like I do this every zodiac sign because every Lunar Chronicle book has another main character and these main characters are very different from each other. So every time I'm like, oh, but this is this character. But okay, I'm now recommending Cress by Marissa Meyer. She is based on Rapunzel. And in this book, she is like this extremely nerdish but really sweet girl. She is very, very smart. She's the technical woman in this book. She hacks everything and she's very practical, but she's very sensitive because she's always lived alone. She was locked up and just as Rapunzel was, so she doesn't really know how to talk with people. And now that she made friends, she wants to sacrifice everything for them. So I think she fits the Cancer personality traits really, really well. And I would still recommend this Lunar Chronicles series because It's incredible. Then the third prompt is actually a book by an author that is the Zodiac Sign Cancer. And there were a lot, but one that I really like is Victoria Schwab, and I own 3 books by her. I am reading one at the moment, Being Gallant. I need to read The Invisible Life of Eddie LaRue, but I didn't yet. The only book that I've read is A Darker Shade of Magic. And this book I would highly recommend. It's a kind of dark magic. Okay, it's a dark magic. The main character can travel between different universes, and in all universes other magic is relevant, and it's really cool. It sounded really, really cool. And I've heard recently that people compare it to Spellslinger by Sebastian de Castell, which I've also read. And I think I might agree, but this one is then a little bit more mature. This is not YA per se. The color of the Cancer zodiac sign people is silver, and a book with a silver cover, well, it's more silver and gold, but is The Last Name Sarah by Kristen Ciccarelli. And this book I really liked. I already adored the cover, so I hoped I would like it. But I've read it like 2 years ago, and I really don't know that much about it anymore. I know it has dragons, which is nice. I liked the dragons. I liked the main character, but the story I don't really remember that much anymore. The main character is a dragon slayer, so she needs to kill the dragons, but she doesn't really want to, and dragons have been gone for a while. So like the real dangerous dragons, there are only like tame dragons that she then kills, and she feels a little bit bad. And it's a weird story, but something very original, and the covers are really pretty, and it has dragons, so why wouldn't you read this? I would highly recommend it. And then the next one is a jam. I always make this very hard for myself, because who relates a book to a jam? But for Cancer, the jam of these people is a ruby. And I just thought of ruby red, because in my head rubies are very red. And that made me think of this book, because it's really red and it just gives ruby vibes to me. This is Everless by Sarah Holland. And in this book, people pay with their blood. So blood is money. So if you are poor, then you are almost dead. And of course, this main character is not very rich. And she tries to survive, kind of. And it's a duology, and I still need to read the second part. But yeah, I thought it was really interesting. It made me think of that movie where people pay with time. But yeah, that doesn't really matter. Please read this. So the next one is a little bit weird, because I didn't really like the book that I'm now going to recommend, but I do think other people would like it. The next prompt is the element of the zodiac sign, and the element of the zodiac sign in this case is water. And the first book that came to mind was A Song Below Water by Bethany C. Morrow. And this cover is just incredible. It's a debut novel, and it is about all the fantastical creatures you can actually imagine. It's about sirens, it's about hydras, and about all these Greek mythological creatures. But then in the real world, it's like they just exist. And it's also a kind of a metaphor for people of color, because she also is a person of color, and she is confronted with a lot of racism, but the racism is portrayed as if it's because she's a weird mythological creature instead of the color of her skin, but the parallels are very obvious. So that made it very interesting, which was also the reason I wanted to read it. But I think it's written not that good, and I thought it was very weird that the writer expects you to know all these creatures. Although, like, most people do know what a siren is. They might not know all the things that come with that. And for all the other characters or creatures holds the same. You might know that they exist, but you don't know what the traits are these characters or creatures have. So if you don't know that, you're getting really confused by the characters in here because it's not explained. And I thought that was very weird. But I would still recommend it because it's something new and the cover is pretty. And maybe she gets better because there's a sequel now, being A Chorus Rises or something. Well, then a book that reminds me of summer because that's the season that the Cancer Zodiac sign is in. I'll Give You the Sun by Jandy Nelson. This is about twins and we follow them through both of their perspectives, but one when they're both 13 or something, or maybe even younger, and one when they're 16. And a lot happens in between those ages. So when they're younger, they're still very close, and when they're older, they are not. And you see how that came to be, and also how different they are, but still how special twin relationship they have. And I really love this book. It's really based on art because they are both artists, and that makes it really special. The writing itself is also kind of an art style, and there are a lot of poems in here. I really, really love the concept of this book, but also the execution was pretty well. Then the next one is a little bit weird. I always choose a song from the book The Astro Poets. The book isn't really good, but these people made Spotify lists for every zodiac sign. So I look at them, I will put it on the screen now, which one is for Cancer zodiac sign. And then I choose a song that reminds me of a book. And I chose the song Blue Moon because I want to recommend to you Conquerors Moon by Juliet May, which is quite blue. The whole series is called the Beryllium Moon Cycle or something. And all have this kind of cover. It's kind of an older fantasy. And it really made me think of Game of Thrones. I adored this book. It's a lot of political intrigues and war, of course. I didn't get past... This is one of the books that I DNF'd, and I DNF'd it 3 times and then I finished it and I ended up really liking it, but it was because I just hated the main character and it's really hard sometimes to continue then. So yeah, that. But I really loved it. I didn't love the rest of the trilogy, so I would recommend it, but not if you... I don't know. This book is just good. And if you like fantasy, this might be a new one to check out, or actually more an older one. One of the more older fantasies that you can check out that you might didn't know about yet. So now it's time for my favorite part of the video. I always recommend a book by someone I know that is the current zodiac sign. So for the Cancer zodiac sign, I asked Marit what her favorite book was. And she said... Oh, now I need to pronounce it. Miss Pellerin's House for Peculiar Children. I always try to avoid this series because I can't pronounce the whole thing, and now I need to. But this is so fun to me because this series I never heard before, heard about it before BookTube. But every BookTuber I like, when they started, this was like the biggest series ever. And I felt like I needed to read it, but I also felt like, no, I have so much to read. This is just not for me. But now that it's recommended to me as a favorite book of all time, I need to pick it up. So I will pick it up. And her favorite was the second book in the series. And she just loves how it starts really slowly. And then without you noticing, you're sucked in and you can't get out. And the characters are all very likable. That's what she said. That's what a lot of people say. Everyone just adores this series. So yes, I need to read it now as well. Yeah, thanks Marit for recommending it to me. And then the last one to recommend to you, a science fiction or a space novel, because I just think those should be recommended more. I recommend to you Warcross by Mary Lou. I did already in another video, but for another prompt. So This one is about a game, a reality game, and everyone actually participates in this game. And it is a little bit more than a game, and the main character is very good in this game. That is kind of a weird description, but it is a nice book. So, and that was actually it. I really hope you liked it. I will tag some people to do it and I will put them on the screen because I didn't look them up yet. But if you want to do it, please be my guest and let me know that you did it, because I'm really excited to see other people do this tag. I really hope you liked this video. If you did, please leave a like. And if you subscribe to my channel and click the notification bell, you will be notified whenever I post a new video. I hope you'll have a lovely day filled with books, and I'll see you all in my next video. Bye! Is there any book of these that you've already read? I'm really curious to hear it. These books sounded like some books I don't really recommend that often, so it's something new for a change.